Hey there, everyone. Savoring the Magic here, where we believe that there is magic in the details. So, obviously, it is just me today. Jonathan could not join, he had a previous engagement, but that's okay because we have talked so many times about how much we love the Disney transportation systems. And today, we're going to further explore one of them, the one that you can see moving behind me, in fact, and that is the Disney Skyliner. So, come along with us on this excursion.
So before we board the Skyliner from Hollywood Studios, let's talk about how this is not the first flying gondola system that Disney has ever had. Disneyland first debuted the Disneyland Skyway on June 23, 1956, a little less than a year after the opening of the park. They knew quickly after building Disneyland that they would be expanding, so Walt had them purchase an aerial ropeway system from a Swiss company. It was the first of its type in the US. They built stations in Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, and that is where the 44 buckets would travel to and fro. Each bucket started with 2 seats bolted in, and while it initially was a round-trip experience, that quickly changed. Soon, the 3.5-minute trip required a D ticket back whenever they used the ticket books, which was kind of a big deal. It had to close in 1957 for the building of the Matterhorn, since it was being built where one of the Skyway supports was currently located. This required the Imagineers to build an opening through the Matterhorn for the Skyway to travel through. Also, it should be noted, because of the appearance of the system, they are often affectionately called sky buckets, aka I will be calling them sky buckets periodically throughout this video. However, they were immensely popular, but they had a low capacity for moving guests, which was an issue. Bob Gurr was tasked with redesigning the buckets. This involved improving their appearance, eliminating the center post, and making it work with 2 sets of inward-facing seats, all without increasing the weight. And in the 1970s, they even went in and added glacial caverns and an abominable snowman to the Skyway pass-through in the Matterhorn. However, in 1994, the Disneyland Skyway was officially closed down due to metal fatigue and just how costly it would have been to repair them. Of course, the Disneyland Skyway was not the only system stateside. Whenever Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, it too opened with a Skyway that ran between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. The Fantasyland station looked like a chalet, much like the Disneyland version, and Tomorrowland station was this 2-story area with a water feature and everything. The ride took 4 minutes and it passed over Peter Pan's Flight, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Lagoon, and Tomorrowland Speedway. Admittedly, I still have some vague memories of this, and it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, the Magic Kingdom Skyway closed just 5 years after the Disneyland one on November 9th, 1999. The tangled bathrooms actually stand where the Fantasyland Skyway station was, and the second floor of the Tomorrowland Skyway was removed, but the first floor can still be seen on top of the bathrooms near Space Mountain. In fact, we actually pointed that out in our Magic Kingdom ride reviews video, so I will link that below in the description. So needless to say, it has been quite some time since some kind of sky bucket system has been utilized across Disney property. It was incredibly expensive to maintain and operate. However, that system was incredibly popular in both parks. Thankfully, the concept of an aerial transportation system found new life in the Disney World Skyliner. It opened on September 29th, 2019, and it currently has the ability to transport guests from Hollywood Studios to the International Gateway entrance at Epcot. So now we talked about kind of the history of a Skyway system in Disney World. Let's go ride this thing as we talk about the buckets themselves, well, the gondolas, I should say, themselves, and some of the details. And on the route from Hollywood Studios to Caribbean, you do pass over some preserved wetlands. So while we're here, obviously Caribbean Beach is the main station. You can get on a gondola to Art of Animation and Pop Century over here. Obviously, we just disembarked off of the Hollywood Studios line. And then, of course, there's the Riviera Epcot line, which we will be hopping on shortly. There are 300 enclosed cabins that come in 8 colors and are big enough for up to 10 passengers. Seating is a wooden bench that faces inward. The Skyliner goes as high as 60 feet above the ground and travels at speeds of up to 11 miles per hour. They are not air conditioned, but the option to keep panels open and the ventilation system through the cabin keeps them pretty comfortable even in the summer. Also, majority of the cabins are wrapped with Disney characters, although the views are better in the ones that are not wrapped at all. So like I said, we are getting off here and stopping at Joffrey's because they have a specialty Skyliner coffee. So of course, that is just in the tone of today, so that has to happen. Let's go get it. So the views on the Skyliner really are gorgeous, but there is something to be said about the route, the very short route from Art of Animation and Pop Century to Caribbean Beach. Going over the water and everything, it really is quite pretty. Also, I don't think I said, but this toffee flight latte is really good if you like toffee. So just a heads up. So the Skyliner features double loading. It is the only system of its kind in North America. Most guests get on and off at the main loading zones, but there's a second area designed for passengers who need more time to board. Here the cabins come to a complete stop to load and unload riders before getting back on the main line with the rest of the cabins. Also, the longest leg of the journey is between Epcot and Caribbean Beach. So we're in a wrapped one on the way to Epcot, so that's why it's a little harder to see. But you can still see Spaceship Earth and the top of the Japan Pavilion peeking out over the trees. And on this route is also where you have the turn station. Hey look, back where we started. The Hollywood Studios parking lot. So I know that they're not technically listed, but because of the International Gateway being where it is at Epcot, the Skyliner is very accessible for people who are staying at Boardwalk, Yacht Club, and Beach Club as well. So just want to point that out. So also I think it should be noted that the Skyliners make me think of Walt's initial plans for Epcot, and not because there was a Skyliner included in it, but because Walt was such a fan of functional modes of transportation, especially for his community of tomorrow, and I feel like the Skyliner fulfills that. It's just a modernized version of the Skyways that we had in the parks, and so many people loved riding those growing up. I know I did, and so it's nice to see it have some new life here at Disney. So all that to say, obviously the Skyliner is kind of our favorite mode of transportation at the moment here at Disney. Do you have a favorite mode of transportation? Comment and let us know. Have you ridden the Skyliner? Yeah, we just want to hear all about it. We have new episodes coming out every Wednesday and Saturday, but until next time, keep savoring the magic.